Hello and welcome to the program from the State Assemblies. This is where we review legislative activities across state houses of assembly. On this episode, Rivers Assembly resumes after 6-month emergency rule, urges Governor Fubara to present new budget. Benue Assembly moves to curb child trafficking, seeks stakeholder collaboration. Plus, Lagos Assembly moves to grant financial autonomy to local legislatures. Details of these and more stories will be coming your way shortly. I am your host, Amina Said. Thank you for staying with us. In the week under review, Rivers State House of Assembly has resumed sitting after 6 months of emergency rule. Speaker Martin Ameule presided over the sitting where the House called on Governor Fubara to commence the process of coming up with an appropriation law for the remaining part of the year to address current realities. Nkiru Onyejisi has more.
Lawmakers are elected to be back. Speaker Martin Ameule soon walks in and plenary begins. There's only one item on the other paper, a motion moved by the House Leader, Major Jack.
Mr. Speaker, we should also be aware that Rivers State Executive Council needs to be fully constituted.
Other lawmakers lend their voice, calling on Governor Fubara to send the list of commissioner designates for screening and confirmation.
To commend the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for restoring democratic institutions in the state.
The Speaker summarized the plenary with a request to Governor Fubara to send a budget to the Assembly for the rest of the year.
The Rivers State House of Assembly will continue to abide by the terms of the peace pact between us, the Governor, and all stakeholders for the interest of this state and of course for the good governance of their states.
All eyes are on the Assembly to fully resume amicable relationship with the executive for the state to move forward.
Thank you, Nkiru. We now take you to Benue, where increasing cases of missing children and child trafficking has raised serious concerns among parents and guardians. To address this growing social menace, the Benue State House of Assembly has resolved to call on the State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, along with other relevant stakeholders, to develop effective strategies to curb the trend and provide support for victims and their families. Assembly correspondent Grace Anyaliwa Ichekpa tells us more.
The urgent call on stakeholders to address the rising cases of missing children and child trafficking follows a motion of urgent public importance moved on the floor of the House by member representing Makurdi South constituency, Mr. Douglas Akia.
Child trafficking is a grave violation of human rights, and Nigeria is a signatory to the several international and regional conventions against child trafficking, including the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child and the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child.
In another development, the House resolved that the Benue State government should reintroduce student bursary through the State Scholarship Board to ease the hardship of Benue students in higher institutions of learning across the country. This follows a motion raised on the floor of the House by member representing Ogbadibu State constituency, Mr. Samuel Agada.
Concerned that this laudable initiative is operational in other states across the country, while our Benue State students locked in the dark corner to watch while other state students enjoy the evidence of democracy.
We believe that if the government reactivates this scheme, it will add some support to its parents' dream and what our students go through.
Result 2, that His Excellency the Executive Governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Hyacinth Yume Adia, look into the Benue State students' plight to, in his usual manner, show them love, especially those touring with professional courses like nursing law, and others. As a result, also taking
Also during plenary, a motion of urgent public importance calling on the state government to rehabilitate the road from the State Ministry of Works up to the Makurdi Old Bridge was moved by member representing Mbagwa State Constituency and former majority leader, Mr. Sate Tise.
Concerned that in due course, when major construction works commence, the Wurukun roundabout would experience hold up, making commuters to spend many hours before traversing the Makurdi metropolis.
If the major work of the flyover started, the hold up there is going to be too much. So I'm calling on the Ministry of Works with the matter of urgency. Start that old Makurdi road and rehabilitate it for the betterment of all of us.
The only result of this motion, calling on the state, on the Ministry of Works, Housing and Urban Development to, as a matter of urgent public importance, rehabilitate the portion of road between their office and the old bridge to serve as alternative route for most of us who come to this city from North Bank. She'll say aye. Aye. Those against the bill, the ayes.
Meanwhile, Lagos House of Assembly has adopted a motion seeking financial autonomy for the legislative arm at local government and local council development areas in the state. This was at a plenary presided over by the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, in Lagos. Musa Toliat completes the report.
The three arms of government, the executive, legislature, and judiciary, are constitutionally replicated in the three tiers of government: the federal, state, and local governments.
Such dependence undermines the principle of separation of powers.
The need for the legislative arm at the local governments to have financial autonomy was contained in the motion moved by the chairman, Local Government Administration, Chieftaincy Affairs and Rural Development, Honorable Ganiu Sani.
The legislative arm in all local government areas and local council development areas depends on the executive arm for funds to carry out their statutory functions. Further observes that such dependence undermines the principle of separation of powers, weakens effective oversight, and sometimes exposes councillors to undue executive influence.
Some lawmakers say financial independence for the legislative arm of government at the grassroots is capable of preventing frequent face-off between chairmen and councillors.
Most of the local government chairmen, they have almost all the leaders of their councils in their pocket. Now, if we are asking for the financial autonomy, it gives them a little bit of credence to be able to say this is what is right or wrong in the financial institution in the local government.
The powers that belong to the local government legislative arm should be given to them in terms of financial autonomy, for them to be able to carry out their functions without the permission of the executive arm.
There should be a kind of relationship between the executive and the legislature. So the relationship between the two must be cordial. And as much as they are to be cordial relationship, then the autonomy must be given to every one of them to perform their legislative and the executive duty.
We are giving back to local government what belongs to them. The councillors should know their rights, should be accountable to the people.
There is no check and balance in all our local government. Why? Because every of the legislative arm of the local council do not know their function.
Members of the House of Assembly also believe that the principles of separation of powers will be enhanced when the motion eventually leads to a legal framework to actualize independent funding for the local government legislature.
Separation of power will bring openness, accountability, public confidence, and it will enhance training. And more so, it will even further enhance the representation to the people that they are representing. And it will make even the legislative arm to even be more accountable to the people.
We should not just talk about them having their own independence and not going there. That enough training, guidance will also be pushed into motion, especially on capacity building, so that they know from day one what is expected of them. especially when they do their monitoring and evaluations.
The Speaker of the House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, noted that with the recent increase in allocations to local governments, the legislature at the grassroots must be empowered to ensure proper checks and balances in the interest of the people.
If they can oversight the chairman and his team very well, I think there will be degree of sanity and improvement in our local government, particularly at this time that the federal government has increased allocations to all local government. So we must see the impact of such increments, and this is the only way to go about it. And it's also a reminder for us too, to look at the local government administration law so that we can amend and make this process, a law beyond the resolution.
The House resolved to call on Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to mandate the Commissioner, Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy Affairs and Rural Development to prioritize regular training and capacity building for councillors on financial management, budgeting processes, and legislative best practices.
We now take a break. When we return, Kebbi labor unions present views on 2025 pension bill at public hearing as appropriation amendment tops Kano's Assembly year-end agenda. Stay with us.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
You're welcome back. We now take you to Kebbi State. And in Kebbi, the coalition of organized labor unions have presented their input and observations on the proposed amendment of the State and Local Government Contributory Pension Bill 2025 at an ongoing public hearing. They submitted their perspectives to the Kebbi State House of Assemblies Committee on Security and General Administration for further deliberation. Assembly correspondent Jafar Yusuf Illo reports.
The Kebbi State House of Assembly is currently reviewing the State and Local Government Contributory Pension Bill 2025 with a public hearing held to gather input from stakeholders including the Coalition of Organized Labor Union, Kebbi State Contributory Pension Board, among others. The bill seeks to ensure timely remittance of pension funds to beneficiaries and to address issues of improper documentation of people's money.
And also in places where they said if a person, a contributory member, maybe happens to, he has contributed just for 4 to 5 years and for maybe ill health issues that he has forfeited the remaining portion because he has not attained the age of 45. So also check that area and look into it.
We will never tell them. We will make sure that this law, if passed into law, will be implemented to the letter.
The bill aims to improve pension management for state and local government employees. The Chairman Committee on Security and General Administration, Mohammed Abubakar Lolo, assures them of further deliberation on the bill, considering the stakeholders' feedback.
So the issue is that we have sit with the labours and give them the bill, give them 2 days, so that after 2 days today they bring the bill with their observations. So and we make sure we go with them with their observation, which married with what we have already been observed from the bill.
The Kebbi State House of Assembly have been actively working on various bills, including Kebbi State Information Technology Development Agency Establishment Bill 2025. The Assembly's committee engaged with relevant stakeholders to ensure thorough review and effective legislation.
As the 2025 fiscal year winds down, the Kano State House of Assembly is putting finishing touches to the Kano State Appropriation Amendment Bill. The House is also addressing other critical legislative matters that require attention before the end of the year. Samira Hamishura reports on these and other key activities of the lawmakers.
For some time now, the Kano State House of Assembly has been a beehive of activities, working to complement the executive arm in fulfilling promises made to the electorate. Several bills and motions were deliberated and passed, while some bills have already received the governor's assent. Others are still under review by the executive. Meanwhile, adopted motions are being implemented by the relevant authorities. Among the bills that received special attention was the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2025, transmitted by Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf. The lawmakers prioritize a speedy passage to support the executive in sustaining fiscal responsibilities. The bills seek to generate additional revenue to fund critical projects in healthcare, infrastructure, and human capital. Initially pegged at 169 billion naira, the Appropriation Committee raised the figure to 378 billion naira, an increase of about 48 billion naira after critical analysis. With this adjustment, Kano State 2025 budget now stands at approximately 1 trillion, the largest in the state's history.
Amendment in 2025 for Jumbo Summit Act to tune of 215 billion, 378 million, 374,543 naira 62 kobo, would bring the total size of the 2025 Jumbo Summit Act to stand at 935 billion, 133 million, 792,206 naira 62 kobo, and for the other matters collected there is hereby passed.
The increase traditionally or normally falls on other sectors where are not captured during the 2025 budget discussion when assented into law. There were agencies created newly which are not captured in the budget, especially when you talk of state neighborhood watch, the agency for the control of diseases, the science and technical board, a lot of them. So they were now captured in the budget, and there were sectors which request an increase, especially Ministry of Works, due to urban renewal program by the state government. The education sector also had a large increase due to the program of educational development of the Kano state government under the leadership of Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf. These are where the increase is necessitates. And you know, in any year, amount of money may come during the budget which were not appropriated, and it is unlawful for any governor or president to spend money not being appropriated. So there was some increase from the increase from the oil sector, which we had. What can I tell you? In the revenue mobilization allocation, in that allocation there was an increase of which we earlier predicted has to be gotten. So we had an increase, so that increase of amount of money must be appropriated. That's why the appropriation amendment bill was necessary for the government. Now we are only waiting for the governor to assent into it and start implementation the whole budget which was passed into law today.
On infrastructure, the House adopted several motions aimed at improving facilities across the state. Abdullahi Yahya from Gizawa urged the executive to reconstruct the fence at Government Girls College, Gizawa, to secure the premises against encroachment and ensure student safety. Similarly, Tini Lawal from Ajingi moved for the establishment of a tertiary agricultural institute in his constituency to empower youths in line with the government's agricultural policy. Also, Usman Tasiu Abubakar from Kiru, Ayuba Labaran from Kabo, and Suleiman Ishak from Madubi jointly sponsored a motion for the construction of a road linking Madubi to Kiru, Walawa, and Kabo. Ibrahim Muhammad from Ranu called for a road project from Gonar Gidan Hawaidu to Gidan Zagi, while the House reminded the executive of the need to consider the Karfi Gunduza road in Kura and Durba to Turba road in Kibia. Other motions that scaled through included the provision of more primary healthcare centers across the state. Ahmed Ibrahim from Kaharai moved for a new facility in Zango, while members also pushed for the urgent upgrade of Bunkura Primary Healthcare Center to a general hospital. In terms of economic development, Ibrahim Muhammad from BBG moved for the renovation of Enkifi Market in Dekatsalli, while Yusuf Ali Udaneji from Kano Municipal sought the construction of a mini bridge linking Yaka Sebi to Jawala GSM Market. In another development, the House adopted the report of the Committee on Works and Housing for the construction of 5 and 3 kilometer roads in Gabasawa and Garumara local government areas.
On Tuesday, 29 July 2025, where Honorable Zakaria Alassam Ishaq, member representing Kura Garumara constituency, moved a motion calling on the state government to construct a 3-kilometer road from Konaraji to Zaria Road in Garumara local government area. After a deliberation, the House referred to the matter to this committee, which was mandated to investigate to report back. 2.0 methodology. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable members, prior to the commencement of this exercise, this committee undertook the following methods. 2.1, the committee requests a brief on the above-mentioned roads from the Ministry of Works. 2.2, the committee took an inspection tour to the road on Thursday, 12th August 2025, where the following findings were discovered. 3.0, findings. 3.1, Gadar Raji is the termination point of the Garumana local government 5 kilometer, which is currently under construction. 3.2, that the road passes through the community of Garumara local government area, which include farmers and traders. 3.3, that the road, if constructed, will enhance the economy of the affected communities and enhance their suffering while bring out their farm products to the market, as well as linking 5 kilometers with Zaria Road. 4.0 recommendations. Mr. Speaker, sir, my fellow honorable members, after careful study of our findings, above the committee finds it important to recommend that 4.1, the House called on the state government to construct a road from Gadar Raji to Zaria Road in Garumana local government area in order to boost the economy of affected communities and ease their suffering.
Meanwhile, the House also revisited the Kano State Tourism Board Management Law.
There was a law which was enacted called Kano State Censorship Board Law. In that law, all issues concerning cinemas, event centers, and film centers solely vested in the responsibility was solely vested to the censorship board. But before, it was the sole responsibility of Kano State Tourism Board to take charge of controlling all the viewing centers, the event centers, and the cinemas. Now, since that law regarding the Kano State Censorship Board was enacted, all issues pertaining cinemas, event centers, cinemas are now in the hands of the censorship board. So we call that to amend anything.
And with this plenary, we conclude this week's episode of the program from the State Assemblies. Remember, you can still watch this episode, news, and other programs on our social media handles showing on your screen. Thank you for watching. I remain your host, Amina Saif.